Listen closely, Saints fans, because the air in New Orleans feels different right now. We have seen legends come and go, but this feels like a storm is brewing inside the Superdome that we didn't see coming. There is a heavy silence between the front office and our greatest playmaker, and it should worry every single one of us. Before we dive into what is really happening behind closed doors, do me a favor. If you are a real fan, hit that like button and subscribe. We need the Who Dat faithful united for what is coming next. Stay strong. Everything changed on March 9 when the news broke that the Saints signed Travis Etienne to a massive 4-year, $48 million contract. On the surface, you think, great, we just added a dynamic weapon to help the offense. But when you look at the numbers, that is RB1 money. That is the guy money. And it immediately forced every single fan in New Orleans to look at Alvin Kamara and wonder what his future holds. For weeks, the silence was deafening, but Alvin finally broke it on Taron Armstead's podcast. People were looking for a confirmation that he was coming back, but what we got instead was something far more cryptic, and honestly, a bit unsettling for those of us who love number 41. Kamara was asked about the signing, and his response wasn't a positive proclamation. Instead, he said, "If that's the direction we're going, I am with it." That phrase right there, "if that is the direction," feels like a man who is standing on the outside looking in. He mentioned he hasn't even had the time to talk to Etienne yet. Think about that for a second. Your team signs a major piece to share your backfield, someone who is technically your new partner, and 5 weeks later, there has been no communication. It feels like there is a wall being built in that facility. Kamara said he was excited Etienne got paid and has a fleur-de-lis on his helmet, but he sounded more like an observer than a teammate. It makes you wonder if Alvin even knows what the plan is, or if the front office has stopped sharing the blueprint with him entirely. We are talking about a player who has been the heartbeat of this city for nearly a decade, yet he sounds like he is just waiting to see what happens next. It is a strange vibe, and it is the kind of thing that starts to happen when a franchise is preparing to move on from a legend. But here is the thing, is Alvin actually okay with this? Or is he just being professional while the ground shifts beneath him? Now this is where it gets interesting, because the coaching staff had their own things to say about the situation recently. Now this is where it gets really interesting and a little bit cold. When you hear from the coaching staff, you usually expect a full-throated defense of a star player, but that isn't exactly what we heard from our head coach, Kellen Moore. When he was asked specifically about Alvin Kamara's situation and his place on this team, Moore didn't exactly paint a picture of a permanent fixture. He told the media that Alvin is certainly on the roster and part of the running back room. If you are a fan who has followed this game for a long time, you know that he is on the roster is the ultimate non-answer. It's the kind of thing you say when you're keeping your options open. Moore went on to talk about how fortunate they feel to have acquired Travis Etienne and emphasized that there is a lot of work to be done. It feels like the focus has shifted entirely to the new arrival, leaving Alvin as a secondary thought in the coaching staff's vision. And you have to remember, Kamara is turning 31 this July. In NFL years, especially for a running back, that is a dangerous milestone. We are seeing a new offensive system coming in with Kellen Moore, and usually, new coaches want their own guys. They want the players they specifically brought in to execute their vision. Etienne fits that mold perfectly. He is younger, he is on a fresh long-term deal, and he represents the future. Meanwhile, Kamara is coming off the worst statistical season of his entire career. He rushed for only 471 yards and just 1 touchdown. For the first time ever, he didn't hit 1,000 yards of total offense. The production is dipping just as the salary and age are rising. That is a recipe for a hard conversation that nobody in New Orleans wants to have. But the coaching staff isn't hiding their excitement for the new era, and their language regarding Alvin feels more like they are tolerating his presence rather than building around his talent. It makes you wonder if they are just waiting for the right moment to make a clean break, or if they are hoping he simply fades into the background. It is a tough pill to swallow, but this is where things change and get incredibly messy behind the scenes. Former Saints star Tyrann Mathieu decided to pull back the curtain on his own podcast, and what he said should send shivers down the spine of every Saints fan. Mathieu didn't hold back, suggesting that the organization isn't dealing with Alvin in good faith. That is a massive accusation from someone who knows that locker room. He hinted that there is deep-seated resentment within the building, claiming that some people in the front office are actually mad at Kamara. Why? Because they believe he spearheaded the movement to get former coach Dennis Allen fired. Think about the gravity of that. If the leadership believes a player was responsible for a coaching change, but then didn't produce the results to back it up, that creates a toxic environment. Mathieu even said that he thinks the Saints would rather Alvin just walk in and say he is going to retire, so they don't have to make a hard decision. He went as far as saying he doesn't think Mickey Loomis has the balls to outright cut him because of what he means to the city. This is no longer just about football or age or stats. This is about internal politics and a relationship that might be completely fractured beyond repair. If the team is holding a grudge over the Dennis Allen situation, then every move they make, including the ETN signing, starts to look like a calculated effort to push Alvin out the door. It is a classic power struggle. On one side, you have the all-time touchdown leader who has carried this team through the post-Breeze era. On the other side, you have a front office and a new coach trying to establish a new culture without the baggage of the past. The tension is reaching a breaking point, and the fact that a veteran like Matthew is speaking out publicly suggests that this isn't just a rumor, it is a reality. This could become something much bigger than a simple depth chart change. We could be looking at an ugly, very public fallout very soon. I'm going to be honest with you guys, this actually worries me more than any injury or any losing streak could. When you have a player like Alvin Kamara, someone who defines the identity of the New Orleans Saints, you expect him to be treated with a certain level of respect. I really want to be optimistic and believe that ETN and Kamara can coexist as the most dangerous duo in the NFL, but everything I'm hearing points in the opposite direction. It feels like the team is trying to force a legend into a corner. I think fans should pay attention to the body language and the lack of communication. If Kamara hasn't even spoken to the man brought in to take his carries, that tells you everything you need to know about the atmosphere in that building. I love Mickey Loomis, and I know he has to make the tough calls to keep this team competitive, but this feels personal. It feels like they are waiting for Alvin to blink first. I hate seeing our heroes go out this way, especially when it involves behind-the-scenes drama about getting coaches fired. It tarnishes the legacy of everything we built. Part of me hopes that Alvin sees this as a challenge and comes out this season with a massive chip on his shoulder to prove everyone wrong. But the other part of me, the realistic part, sees a 31-year-old back who was shut down with a knee injury last year, and a team that just spent $48 million to replace him. It is a heartbreaking situation. We want to believe in the fleur-de-lis and the loyalty of this franchise, but the NFL is a cold business. I'm torn between wanting to see him retire as a Saint on his own terms and the fear that he might end up wearing another jersey just to prove he's still got it. We are watching the end of an era in real time, and it's not the heroic sunset we all imagined. It's filled with tension, silence, and unanswered questions. This could be an incredible comeback story, or this could become a problem that defines the Kellen Moore era. We are standing at a crossroads that will define the next 5 years of Saints football. Whether Alvin Kamara stays and fights for his place, or the team finally finds the nerve to move on, the identity of this roster is changing right before our eyes. The silence from the facility is loud, and the words from former teammates like Tyrann Mathieu are even louder. This isn't just about a running back rotation anymore. It's about the soul of the team, and how we treat the icons who gave everything for this city. The tension is unresolved, and it feels like a major announcement is just around the corner. Will Alvin accept a secondary role, or will he decide that the direction we are going is one he doesn't want to follow? The future is uncertain, and the stakes couldn't be higher for Mickey Loomis and Kellen Moore. They are playing a high-stakes game of poker with a fan favorite, and the fallout could be massive. But I want to hear from you, the real Who Dat faithful. Do you think the Saints are disrespecting a legend, or is it simply time to move on to the Travis Etienne era? Should Alvin retire as Saint now, or does he have one more elite season left in him? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to stay updated on this developing story. We are in this together. Who Dat?